And then they couldn't put dwarfs because this is just so typical of the left.
This movie is bad.
I wanted my money back. It was very disappointing.
Snow White isn't white. Every way that Disney changed the story, it changed it for the worse.
She comes off as an insufferable, whiny brat, and that's why people are so annoyed. Beyond just them inserting feminism, I think we expect that at this point, but why do you have to mess with a classic, especially with someone who doesn't even seem to like her own character?
That's the thing is, so Disney, I mean, this saga, like you said, goes back a very long time. So she initially comes out, and Disney's first film that they ever won an Academy Award with was Snow White. It's
an absolute unmitigated disaster for Disney.
The reason we had Rachel Zegler on the docket is she's an asshole.
Bill Maher and Michael Knowles are not holding back when it comes to Rachel Zegler. They are coming at her with everything they've got. And honestly, can you blame them? Imagine spending over $200 million on a movie, only for it to flop so hard it barely makes a dent at the box office. It's not just disappointing, it's downright embarrassing.
Controversies surrounding Disney's Snow White remake show that we are still in the thick of the culture wars. Oh, have we been following the Snow White?
Actually, the first time hearing of this.
This Snow White remake was supposed to be a massive hit, something people would be talking about for years. Instead, all anyone can talk about is Rachel Zegler running her mouth and Disney completely butchering a beloved fairy tale.
Disney seemingly destroying another classic.
The original Snow White gave generations of fans that magical feeling of true love, adventure, and romance. But now, a 20-something-year-old who wasn't even alive when the Snow White cartoon came out is calling it outdated and weird. Excuse me? Somebody needs to sit this girl down and give her a lesson in respect.
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that.
Rachel has been out here throwing tantrums, making bizarre statements, and alienating half the country with her political rants. She basically told anyone who voted for the US president that they don't deserve peace. Who even says that? And let's not forget the infamous F Donald Trump and Elon Musk post.
Rachel Zegler also posted, F Trump kinds of posts on social media. She also said that she hoped that Trump supporters, quote, never know peace.
Oh yeah, that's definitely not the way to win over an audience. People don't forget things like that. And guess what? They didn't. People weren't lining up to see Snow White. They were running in the opposite direction. And you know what's crazy? Disney saw this coming from a mile away.
Now, people were already prepared for this movie to be far left, woke, terrible.
For decades, Disney has thrived on making people feel something. Nostalgia, romance, magic, adventure. But somewhere along the way, they decided that wasn't enough. They had to modernize everything, even if it meant stripping these classic films of their heart and soul. Snow White wasn't just modernized, it was completely rewritten into something unrecognizable.
This is starting to sound nothing like Snow White. They've just got a character named Snow White, but the story seems to be entirely different.
Rachel, in her infinite wisdom, declared that she doesn't need a prince to save her. Okay, girl, good for you.
You said you were bringing a modern edge to it on stage. What do you mean by that?
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true. And so it's just a really incredible story for, I think, young people everywhere.
But maybe, just maybe, a romantic fairy tale should actually include romance? She even had the nerve to call Prince Charming a stalker. Excuse me? The same prince that generations of fans adored? She dismissed the entire foundation of the story like it was nothing. And fans were not having it. People were already side-eyeing Disney for forcing unnecessary modern twists into every remake. But this was the final straw. And it didn't stop there. As if gutting the story wasn't enough, Disney thought it would be a good idea to erase the 7 dwarfs. You know, the 7 key characters that the entire story revolves around? Instead of casting real people, they used CGI and random actors of different heights.
They're remaking the movie, they just got rid of the dwarfs, okay?
Okay, but what do they call them?
Why would they get rid of the dwarfs, though?
Magical
creatures.
creatures.
But they have one token dwarf amongst these magical creatures. You actually just went backwards. You actually just erased the dwarfism side of it, the disability, like we're a disability group. You just erased that whole image.
So let me get this straight. They had no problem casting a Latina actress as Snow White, an actress who is actually brown.
She's not white, but she should be. Snow White needs to be white. I've been referring to this new movie as sand beige. She is a vaguely brown lady.
But when it came to giving little people roles in a major Hollywood film, they were like, nah, let's just CGI it. The hypocrisy is screaming. Peter Dinklage even spoke out about it in 2022. But apparently, Disney wasn't listening.
Couldn't put dwarfs because this is just so typical of the left. The progressives always finding a way to find their way back to doing something not progressive. You'd think the most progressive thing would be get people jobs, and dwarfs want to work. Because I think it was Peter Dinklage said this is, this is not right. This is demeaning, and they were like, what? We just want to work. We're dwarfs.
And what was the result of all this nonsense? A $200 million disaster. Fans weren't interested. Parents said they couldn't connect with the new woke version. Older fans were disgusted at how the classic was disrespected. Teens thought it was cringe. By the second week, the movie was already vanishing from theaters because nobody wanted to watch it.
Reporter, I went to check it out myself yesterday here in Shanghai. Now, including myself and my friend, the entire IMAX cinema had just 5 audience members.
But let's be honest, this wasn't just about one bad movie. This was a perfect storm of everything that has gone wrong with Disney in recent years. People are tired. They are tired of studios shoving politics into every movie. They are tired of classic characters being rewritten to fit a narrative. They are tired of being told that the things they grew up loving are now problematic. And Rachel Zegler became the face of that frustration.
Yeah, it's okay to modernize things, but if you have such an issue with the original fairy tale and the original storyline, maybe instead of remaking it, you just make a different movie. I don't think that's too much to ask for.
Rachel didn't just promote the movie. She actively insulted the fan base. She belittled the original film. She dismissed the very audience that would have made this movie a hit. And now, Disney is paying the price.
May Trump supporters and Trump himself never know peace.
Meanwhile, Disney execs are scrambling, looking for someone to blame. Some are pointing fingers at Rachel, others are blaming social media. A few are even trying to claim it was just a bad script. Oh, please. We all know the real reason. Rachel wouldn't keep her mouth shut, and people got tired of her attitude. And let's be real, Rachel is only 23. She could have had a promising career ahead of her, she has talent, but after this train wreck, studios might think twice before casting her in another big-budget film. She's already got a reputation for tanking a project before it even starts. Nobody wants to deal with an actress who spends more time stirring up controversy than actually promoting her movie.
She's a PR nightmare. I don't know how anyone would hire her.
At this point, the damage is done. Snow White is officially one of the biggest flops in Disney history, and Rachel Zegler is at the center of it. And you know what? This whole situation is a reminder that being outspoken can have consequences. People don't appreciate it when an actress mocks something they've loved for years. Fans don't want to be told that the story they cherished as kids is suddenly problematic just because some Gen Z actress doesn't like it. Imagine growing up watching Snow White, dreaming about fairy tales and happily ever afters, only to have Rachel Zegler pop up and tell you that wanting a Prince Charming is outdated.
Idea. Maybe not destroy a classic from my childhood and put an actress in there that not only hates the plot and the storyline of the movie she's in, but also seemingly hates Snow White, the character herself.
Like, girl, let people have their nostalgia. Not everything needs to be modernized or turned into a political statement. At this point, Disney needs to take the loss and learn from this disaster. Stick to the original fairy tales. Give people what they actually want to see. Bring back the romance, the magic, the happily ever after, because that is what audiences love. If they don't, well, let's just say they better be prepared for more $200 million flops.
If they keep going along this path, they're going to go bankrupt. I mean, they really are going to be in serious trouble. They can't keep churning out trash IP based on some of the greatest IP ever created and hope that audiences are going to keep showing up at the box office.
What do you think about this Snow White disaster? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next video.